transference of energy, it's something that is quite easy in terms of all the different things that we're doing. Is it really easy? No, but it's easier than the rest of them because you don't have to actually create anything. You don't have to create anything from scratch because you're using what's already there. Very similar to the ricochet shield, you're using what's already there. The only difference is really that there may or may not be a shield there. Really, truthfully, in transference of energy, there really isn't. I mean, it can pair with other magic, like a ricochet shield, like the war arrow magic, like other magic. It pairs very well with other magic, but by itself, this is what it is. Essentially, either you are expelling something or you're taking something in. And like I said, you don't create it. It's the energy that you're using, either way, it's already there. Let me give you an example. Say there is somebody, and by the way, it's not always used for war magic, it's used for many different things, but we're going to focus on the war magic part of this. Say there is somebody exceptionally evil, don't even deserve to breathe, but they have just hurt severely, just pained your pet dog. Your pet dog obviously is innocent and doesn't deserve that. What you can do with transference of energy is you can take all that pain that the dog just unfortunately had to take in, you can extract that pain from all of that pain from the dog, and you can give it back to whoever pained your dog. So now the evil person feels all the pain that the dog doesn't feel anything anymore. The dog is fine, and they feel all the pain instead. At the same time, you can take away any strength that they might have to combat that pain so that they can't heal from the pain. So you can extract all of that strength from that enemy. Now they can't even heal from the pain. Now you're really teaching them a lesson. And where does the strength go? Well, it can go pretty much anywhere you want it to. You just have to designate a place for it to go. Is it going to go inward? Is it going to go to the dog? Is it going to go to several other different things? Is it going to go to a forest somewhere? Where is that energy, where is that strength going to go? The key thing here that a lot of people cannot master and get themselves into big trouble with is that when you're either taking something or expelling something, either way, you have to be very careful. Say you're expelling pain from someone that just pained you, and you're expelling all that pain and now they have it instead. You have to be very careful that you don't expel your own strength along with it. And you also have to be very careful that if you're taking strength from something, that you're not taking accidental negativity or weakness or something with it. With the dog, you have to make sure that you're only taking the dog's pain and not anything that the dog actually needs, such as its strength or its energy, just overall energy. When we get into trouble is we get arrogant and we think that we can just do this through intent. Some magic you can just do through intent. But when it comes to something like this, intent is not going to cut it. You're going to have to really focus and only pull what you want to pull, or only expel what you want to expel. Because just having the intent of what you want to do isn't going to be enough. Not in this case. Sometimes I say all you need is intent. I say that a lot. Not in this case. So that is the most difficult thing to master, but at least you don't have to create anything because it's already there. The pain you're taking from the dog, that was already there. That's what you use as a weapon against the enemy. You don't have to create a weapon because it's already there. See what I'm saying? You also don't have to create that strength that they have because it's already there. So, or to the dog. So, what I'm trying to say is, that, again, this is something that I've said before, and I've said many, many times over. Something like this is easy enough that if people get taught step by step how to do it, then they're going to, unfortunately, evil people are going to know how to do this. And that is why I can't say do this, do this, do this. Because can you imagine in the wrong hands what that could possibly do? Even just something like transference of energy could have immense consequences. And that's why the shielding is so important. And by the way, transference of energy pairs well with shielding and pairs well with other protection magic and other war magic even. In fact, transference of energy and arrow magic go really close in hand in hand with one another. Because when you do expel something, you have to make sure that it's only going to hit the target you intended, not everything else. And that part of it is arrow magic. So unless you do some sort of binding where you don't need the arrow magic, where it's pre-designated and bound. But for that, you would need probably, I won't say for sure, but to do something like that flawlessly, you're going to need a physical belonging object, hair, something. Otherwise, it's always going to be an arrow. It's always going to come down to you need an arrow. You're not going to be able to just immediately designate something to somewhere or someone or something without that arrow. 9 times out of 10, you're just going to need to know that. So we'll talk about the arrow magic in a different video and exactly what I mean by arrow magic. But basically, it's just a way to make sure that it goes around anything innocent, anything that is of pure intent, and that it only hits the target that you need. So I'm trying to think of anything that I haven't said, but this kind of magic, like I said, has many other uses. I mean, people do it in healing, in cleansing. They do it in all different sorts of magic. This transference of energy is I mean, it could be found in almost every kind of magic there is. So for healing, for example, maybe you're transferring healing energy to somebody. Maybe you're extracting pain and then giving healing energy. It doesn't always have to be something immensely profound that you're doing with this transference of energy either. It can be something as simple as transferring an emotion or just a raw element, So in the other videos, we'll talk about what a river war magic is, and that's if you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, there's a reason for that. I'll get to it in the river video. And then there is, of course, the arrow, which we'll do next. But am I going to spend a bunch of time talking about the way you do it with rituals and symbols and runes and so? No. Because when you talk about all the different rituals that are out there and all the different kind of runes and war magic that's out, I mean, you might as well just watch the runes playlist if you want to learn about, because when you're talking about stuff like that, it's like endless. That there are so many different ways to go about it when you're talking about rituals, symbols, things, relics, and things like it. When you bring stuff like that into it, yes, that is a way of war magic. Yes, it definitely is. But really self-explanatory common stuff like that, I'm not going to spend time on. So if you find that, okay, why isn't this category in the playlist, it's because I felt as if it was, you know, self-explanatory and common enough that I didn't need to mention it. But does it mean that that's all that there is? No, that's not all. And that's not all the different kinds of war magic there is. But I'd be sitting here forever and ever and ever if I just kept talking about all the stuff that, let's face it, most people already have an inkling about, or at least have heard of before. I do go over the basics that a lot of people have heard of before. But when it gets into the depth and detail of stuff that people have heard of before, I just don't have time to do all that. So apologies for that, but I won't be doing a separate video on something like that. So sorry about that, but do look forward to the rivers and the arrows, and maybe one or two more, I don't know yet.